Things that attracted me immediately to this property was the home was kind of in the center of the property. More of your money's worth that way, but from a cash, like land investment aspect, you might want more. Hey guys, Kapper here. Welcome back. This is going to be a new mini series. If you're looking at property, or if you're thinking of looking at property, or if you have property to sell, you might want to join me on this mini series. Over the last few months, I've been looking at different properties in Missouri, and now we're going to probably start in Kentucky as well. But I'm going to document kind of the properties we've looked at, how the process has gone, and I'll give you tips and observations along the way. So hopefully you'll join me. If nothing else, it's going to be a fun road trip. I guarantee they're all going to have some beautiful scenery. So let's get in the outdoors. So this first property was a 313 acre parcel with a really nice custom log cabin on it in Dallas County, Missouri. It was a little bit higher than what we'd want to spend, but A, you can always make offers that are lower than asking price, and B, in this case, the reason I look at properties like this is because with 313 acres, you could potentially purchase it with some creative financing and then sell off like an 80, or 120 or even 140 or 50 if you had to, if the remaining, home and land is something that you'd really want to settle down in. And also, the rest of our property is still tied up for sale here. We did sell one parcel off Project 291. Now we're just listing our cabin, another 40-some acre parcel here off of our main farm, and we still have the remaining 152. So a lot of our assets are tied up in land right now, but we're not afraid to do creative financing. So let me show you this Dallas County 313 acre. It's a beautiful place, no doubt, and they have since listed it with just a home with 160 acres as an option, or the chunk of land without the home as an option as well. So let's take a road trip.
You can get into this property multiple ways, so it's got two sets of roads, and we're going to be the Niagara River, the river bottom that goes all the way up to that Bennett Spring. So we're actually circling back towards Bennett again.
All right, so one of the things that attracted me immediately to this property was the home was kind of in the center of the property. So it had this easement lane. It was a legal easement and driveway back off the main highway. We prefer less road frontage versus more road frontage as far as privacy and deer hunting aspect. You get more of your money's worth that way, but from a cash, like land investment aspect, you might want more road frontage, but it was way back off the road, which was like checkbox number one.
So map, so a quarter-mile drive back into the property.
All right, this farm has a really good mix of open / tillable / usable for horses or cattle and woods. You're going to hear the agent here. This particular showing was Brian Utek from Whitetail Properties, and you're going to hear him kind of explain about the pasture fields and that here in this segment. And we haven't even reached the house yet.
There's 5 big hay fields on here. These 4 right here, and then one up front. There's a 40. So it ain't a 40 complete, but that's a bigger, really big pasture right there, believe it or not. That has road frontage and a gate. That's that blacktop road, as you can see, comes through there. We'll drive over there in the Polaris today. We could be on this property for hours driving around on it on trails. The house that's back here, perfect, super clean. It's been painted. Everything's been done to the house, so it's just in great shape. All pipe corners on the place.
So this is really a nice home and property. I'm not going to go really into depth inside of the home. My main goal here is to share with you guys who are looking to buy land and acreage and that. I mean, the home part of it is very typical to buying a home in a city, or subdivision, or a 2-acre lot or 5-acre lot. So we're going to concentrate on the land. But it was a nice home, but it is a log home. That was one of the things for us because, it's a lot of maintenance. Even though the maintenance was recently done, which buys you, 7, 8, 10 years, a real log home does have to have regular maintenance with restaining and possible caulk or chinking and that kind of thing. Okay, so this one did have a whole home generator, which is a huge plus, not just for a country property, but for a city property. I mean, if you've ever had a power outage, it's obvious as to why. So a whole home generator is a really nice bonus, and it's worth in the area between $5,000 and $10,000 or $12,000, depending on the size of home and installation costs and so forth. So I'm outside. It's got 1 bar 5G right outside at the house. So I'm gonna guess. I'm not seeing a Wi-Fi, but we were talking about that. It's got a landline and a satellite. So a big consideration, especially for a country home, is cellular signal and internet service availability. With satellite stuff, it's getting better, but it's just something that you want to pay attention to. Let's check out the property now. It is really a beautiful property. All right, when you're checking out a property, fencing is a big deal for a number of reasons. Okay, if you want to have horses or cattle, or if you want to lease it to horses or cattle, internal fencing could be a positive to you, but for a lot of people it may not be useful at all. But perimeter fencing is kind of a big deal. Perimeter fencing, for obvious reasons, helps you to delineate between your property and the neighbors, and it greatly reduces the chance of trespassing having a nice perimeter fence, which this one did, I believe, around the entire property, or at least the majority of it. And also, if you do want to subdivide, and if you wanted to sell off a chunk, you could use existing fence lines, which just makes life a lot easier if you were to subdivide and sell a parcel off.
Water coming on through that creek, if you can see all the way up there. Back up so you can see this way up through there.
Back up a little. I'll get out there quick.
Okay.
I'll
drop you off over there. You can go this way.
I can get on here.
Okay, that's fine.
Looks like a low spot. I don't know. He says there might be springs, but it is pretty. Sycamore. Got some steep ridges up here. We're riding on a ridge top right now. Okay, so as far as terrain goes, we like hilly country, but we like more gently rolling hills. You want to pay attention to, in hilly country, ridge tops. So as you see us traveling, we're traveling to ridge tops here. So flat ground has its own challenges and uniqueness, but in hill country, you want to
It's not big drop-offs. That valley right there is one of your drop-offs, and there's another one that's really big on the property. The rest of it lays real gentle.
Make sure you can at least use the majority of your property as a good road system, because if you've been following Project 291 here on our channel, just having an established road system is a big deal. Because if you don't, you need to bring in big machines and big equipment to build a brand new road system. So let's keep cruising through the hardwoods of this beautiful Missouri farm and keep on getting some fresh air. I love this stuff, man. Just being out in the woods and that is really awesome.
This is all the way down, this piece right here. So this has got some really good deer hunting and turkey hunting in this little area. You'll see it's cleared off. But you can do a lot of beans and stuff on this property. You would think Mountain Shale is rock, but it's got different soil compositions. It'll go from a class 2 to a class 6. You know, it's just, and when you see up front, I'm gonna show you something. This is just another little area.
All right, so we're at the front of that 40.
Yep. Yep, and then if you go right over here, the property line's just right over here, which we're not going to go. We're just going to go right here and just do a little loop. Okay. Just so you can see it. But it's nice because somebody's going to, he has a turkey blind right there, so somebody's going to want this little area. I mean, this is an easy sell. It's got too many attributes. It drops off real nice for views. You know what I mean? It's got everything you could want right there.
Yeah.
Amen. He had to have a spot where she could just get to from the pasture and wrap around to that. But what's neat is you're going to get on a line right now that it's the line that goes around the whole property, the fence row, and you can drive, like I said, 90-some% of this whole property. There's a deer. And you see the orange tape, so you kind of know what they are. There's one of those big 21-footers in there. We're right there. So we're going like this now. That's our bearing now. Okay?
Alright.
Boop.
And we're headed towards that
Yep,
gate.
we're gonna go like that. We're gonna see all that right there. Hunting part of it. Just miles and miles of trails. I just want to show you this.
All right, so as you just saw, water is another thing to consider. Natural ponds, man-made ponds, natural creeks, year-round creeks versus just wet weather creeks. You can't have life without water. So if you're thinking of wildlife, you're thinking of deer hunting, you're thinking of cattle or animals, pay attention to watering sources, whether they're man-made or natural, if they're year-round and so forth. But the more water you have, the better off, in my opinion, for wildlife and for human activity as well as horses or livestock. All right, thanks for joining me today. As I mentioned, I'm going to do a new mini series as we search for properties and decide if we're going to move out of Illinois or not. We got a lot of moving parts, but I hope you enjoyed tagging along for the ride. This is the first of 6 Missouri farms that I've looked at over the last couple months, so I'll document them. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy this stuff or not, and what might be missing on a property assessment, as each one is very different. So happy new year to everyone. Hope we have a better year in 24 than we did in 23. So take care and God bless. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.